All right, guys, welcome back to a new video. Piers Morgan going absolutely ballistic on the Israeli government, probably his harshest language against Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu in particular since the beginning of this conflict, almost 2 years ago now. Basically saying the new plan that is going to be instituted by the Israeli government and Benjamin Netanyahu, which is called for the permanent occupation of the Gaza Strip. Made a video about that yesterday. You guys can check that out, by the way. Basically saying this is ethnic cleansing. This is a mass criminal enterprise, the Israeli government, what they're conducting right now. That's basically what he's saying. Without question, the harshest language Piers has used throughout this entire conflict here. And we're going to show you the clips. You have a number of clips here. They also had a panel debate. And I mean, my gosh, I had to show you this clip as well, where you had one of the pro-Israel supporters. I mean, some of the things she was saying was just over the top insane, and we're going to talk about that. So we're going to show you the clips of Piers Morgan basically calling out Israel and the government, saying what they're doing is ethnic cleansing, saying like, I'm done with this. I can't deal with this anymore. This is mass destruction, mass devastation. I'm calling it out as harshly as I possibly could. So here's the first clip, and we'll talk about it after. And by the way, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, get to that second level of monetization. So please hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for the support. Again, we've been growing a lot recently. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I'm going to get you guys up to date on all the news coming out. So Patreon link down below as well. Make sure to comment. Thanks for watching. Here's the first clip, and we'll talk about it in
self-defense. And I think the rhetoric that Wajah had talked about from Smodrich and these guys, very hard right members of his cabinet, who somehow get dismissed as not important, but are clearly hugely influential in this government, that they are talking openly about cleansing Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. That is ethnic cleansing. And if you now have, tomorrow night, a decision by the Israeli government to basically go over and occupy the entirety of the Gaza Strip, expelling 2 million Palestinians, that to me is an indefensible ethnic cleansing war crime. Now, you're a Jewish man. What do you say to that?
Okay, so again, pretty scathing language there. And to be clear, again, they're taking the official vote tomorrow night. And by the way, the U.S. administration signed off on it. Trump basically said, okay, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. Of course. Why would he say no? Why would he say no, guys? Nobody should be surprised by that. Of course, Trump is going to sign off on it. Why? Well, that's a different question entirely now, isn't it? And again, Piers cites Ben-Gvir, Smotrich saying, oh, they've been saying they want to cleanse the Palestinians for months, for years. So why is anybody surprised? And yeah, a lot of the pro-Israeli government people, they say, well, oh, they're not in the war cabinet, blah, blah, blah. The Minister of Defense and the Minister of Finance, these are two of the biggest positions in the government. They have enormous influence. And again, it's like so weird. Like Benjamin Netanyahu is the prime minister. What are we talking about? Have you seen what's been going on? Like, why is this so shocking to people? I don't know. It's just clearly the goal from the beginning. I mean, I think Piers is like, oh, wow, I think I was wrong. I think clearly they were trying to do that. I think Piers is making that clear here. And again, Piers is calling for the report said they're calling for a permanent occupation of the Gaza Strip. That's the vote Piers is referring to, where they plan to basically just take over the entire thing. Now, what does that mean for the Palestinians? Well, again, don't forget, guys, Trump himself was making those comments basically saying, yeah, they're going to locate to a bunch of different countries across the world. That's clearly the goal. They're going to try and get people to other countries to accept them. Will that work? I don't think so. But again, the U.S. leverage is insane here because, of course, this is going to be done in coordination with the United States. Make no question about it. Trump is basically openly saying, yeah, okay, Israel, you can do what you want here. So, again, the entire thing is insane. I mean, Piers, for the first time that I can, like, he's really going after the Israeli government hard here. He's had enough. He's had enough. And we had to talk about the panel, guys. It just goes to show you how insane, like, where we are at right now. One of the people on the panel, I think Brooke Goldstein's her name, and she's a human rights lawyer, by the way, which is just crazy. She's an award-winning human rights reporter, by the way. She made a number of comments basically saying Palestinians don't even exist. And you'll notice in her language, the way she's talking about them, it is so strange. I just have to show the clip. So here's a clip, and we'll talk about it after. Here is the panel talking about the Palestinians, and the way she's describing them is just crazy to me. Here's a clip, and we'll talk about it after.
Political reasons only, that we carefully emphasize our Palestinian identity, for it is in the national interest of the Arabs to encourage the existence of Palestinians against Zionism. Yes, there is a Palestinian identity only, quote, for tactical reasons. The invention of this exclusive Muslim Palestinian identity was invented in the 1970s by Yasser Arafat, who was an Egyptian, solely so they can defeat defeat the claim of the Jewish people to a small sliver in the Middle East. Now, I have to say that your past guest is just, frankly, comes off as a Hamas propagandist. And the statements he's making are so untrue, right? That the Israelis are holding Palestinian children as hostages, that they don't want a Palestinian state, that Hamas is ready and willing to release the hostages. Outrageously untrue and ridiculous. Now, Israel does not want Gaza. In 2005, Israel pulled every single last man, woman, and child out of Gaza and exhumed the dead bodies of Israelis because it knew what Hamas would do to them, and gave everything to the Gazans to build their state, because that's what the world pressured and wanted Israel to do, and they did. And what did the Gazans do? They elected Hamas 2 years later, and the world loved it, sent them billions of dollars of aid, turned a blind eye.
Well, actually, Israel did, actually. Hang on, Israel did. Hang on. Prime Minister Netanyahu, sorry, Brooke, just to be clear.
Specifically for this purpose, civilians.
If you could let me just make a point. Okay, let me make a point. Right, Prime Minister Netanyahu, as you know, was instrumental in getting billions of dollars funneled to Hamas because he wanted to have divide and rule between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. It was a very deliberate strategy which has backfired horrifically badly for Netanyahu. And I believe one of the reasons he doesn't want this war to end is there will be a day of reckoning for him, his complicity in funding Hamas, his complicity in failing on his watch in allowing Hamas to commit that terror attack, because he always said his number one goal was to defend Israelis. Well, it was the most horrible breach of that pledge imaginable. And he's also facing personal corruption charges. So there are a number of reasons why many people are growing increasingly cynical that Netanyahu's own self-interest is actually being put ahead of Israeli self-interest. And let me bring Gershom back in here.
Okay, so again, I don't know about you guys. I just think that's completely insane. First of all, she says that the Palestinians, again, she's basically saying the Palestinians aren't their own people. I mean, she literally said in the beginning that Arafat said, they were called Palestinian for tactical purposes. So again, she's saying this in order to try and minimize their claim to the land, trying to say, okay, this is all Israel. The Palestinians, they don't even have land. They have no justification whatsoever. That's basically the argument she's using. Secondly, she says Israel doesn't want Gaza. They don't want it at all. They left in 2007. They're literally openly saying now they're about to sign off on a plan to take it over. So what exactly are you even talking about? Like, do you follow? Like, this is literally in the news. I don't know why she's saying they don't want. Like, it's being reported they're about to take over the Gaza Strip with a permanent occupation. That's literally what the plan is. It's open. Like, I don't know how she's disputing this. And again, she said, first of all, the misinformation is so insane, or the disinformation. She says they gave everything to the Palestinians in order to build a state. First of all, no. It wasn't a state. It wasn't a state at all. What are you talking about? There was still an occupation in the sense where they controlled the borders militarily. They did not allow, again, there was a blockade of supplies coming in. The Israelis still controlled the borders. So the idea that the Palestinians had a state is, of course, ridiculous. And anyone who has any idea of the issue. And again, notice how she calls the Palestinians, she refers to them as the Gazans, not the Palestinians. And why does she say this? Because again, she doesn't want to use the term Palestinians because, again, she doesn't think Palestinians exist. She doesn't think that. She's trying to minimize Palestinians and their claim to the land. It's pretty obvious what she's doing there. And that's why she's calling them Gazans. I'm not sure what she would call people in the West Bank, maybe Arabs, but you see that with a lot of the kind of extremists on the Israeli side basically say, oh yeah, they're not even Palestinians, they're Gazans, which is pretty, I don't know, disgusting to me. And again, and then she's also claiming that, all these countries, they supplied Hamas for years, the Qatar, everyone was giving them money and supplies. And then Piers jumps in, and good for him. He's like, whoa, wait a second here. Hold on a second. Benjamin Netanyahu literally gave money and supplies and aid to Hamas. This is a fact. He literally supplied Hamas with aid for years, because in the sense that, he thought it would be a divide and conquer, as Piers says, where, okay, we're going to divide and conquer here and try and divide the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. Because again, if they're not simpatico, they're not going to be able to create a state if they're divided. And obviously that failed miserably on October 7th, as we see that. And by the way, that on itself is enough for him to be out of a job. I mean, the fact that he's still in charge after everything that's gone on is just beyond insane to me. And again, it's just crazy to me how she's justifying that, they actually did have a state. No, they did not have a state. No, they did not have a state. And they get she gets so offended, and many of the Israeli government people going on Pier's show, they always defend, oh, we gave them a state, nothing happened. And look what happened. They didn't have a state. They didn't have a state, the Palestinians, and they still don't want them to have a state. But you're seeing now the French government, the UK government, the Canadian government basically taking steps forward to recognize a Palestinian state. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's pretty wild what's going on right now, guys. It really is wild. I thought that was a wild panel, and you can just see people are like, what is going on here? So the other guy in the panel, Wajahad Ali, is like, what is going on? Piers is just like, this is crazy. It's crazy stuff that's going on. It really is. So let me know what you think of the video, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It's super good for the algorithm. My Patreon link is down below as well. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll keep you guys updated with the news. Have a great night, and I'll see you later.